In today's episode, I'm talking about all the many words that people in America love to hear Scottish and other British people say because we say them very differently. That's coming right up after this. Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to today's episode. It is great to see you here. Thank you very much for joining in. My name is Shaun and I'm a YouTuber from Edinburgh in Scotland. About 3 years ago, almost exactly, I was invited to the United States of America on an Exploring American Values tour with the United States Embassy to the UK. It was a life-changing experience for me and opened my mind to what the United States is. I've come back many times since then to explore more, and really these days I've been exploring the cultural similarities and differences between Scottish people and American people, and I've been loving that journey. So thank you very much all for being here. It is great to see you all. Thank you for joining in, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell, and then you won't miss anything. I've been doing these kind of cultural exchange videos between Scotland and America for the last couple of years since my trip because I fell in love, and I have travelled America now quite a lot. I'm going to put the links down below in the description of all the videos I have done when I've travelled to different places. Go and check them out, and hopefully once this whole virus situation is over, I can't wait for it to be over, I'll be coming back to America as soon as possible to do more travels up and down the country to all the amazing places you guys have been telling me about. Now, in today's episode, I'm doing a cultural exchange video between America and Scotland, which also applies to the rest of people in the UK as well. Scotland, the UK, and America, right? Because there's a lot of words that we say very differently between us. Even between Scotland and England, but particularly among American people and Scottish people, there's some words that we say very differently. And Americans always ask me, say this word, because you love hearing how we see them differently. So I'm going to give you 10 or 11 or so of the top words that we say differently in English speaking. And then I'm going to throw in a couple of bonus ones at the end, which are very Scottish words that a lot of Americans love to hear as well, and how we pronounce them and what they mean and all that kind of stuff. But really, to start off with, it's going to be the English words that we kind of say for the same things, but we pronounce very differently, and Americans love to hear. That is coming right up, right now. So the first word I'm going to talk about relates to one of these, a phone. Except in the UK, we don't really call it a phone. At least probably not until quite recently. We always used to call it one word, mobile. Our mobile phones. You guys call them cell phones, but we call them mobile. But it brings up an interesting question. The word mobile, you guys pronounce very differently. You call it mobile, right? Anyway, that is one word a lot of people ask me to say when they come to the UK. They say very differently. I hear them saying mobile, and they say, how do you say it? And I'll say mobile. It's a bit weird. I don't know why that kind of got lost in translation between America and the UK. How did that happen? How did these things happen? It's weird. Anyway, that is the first word on the list and very pertinent because we use it all the time. Here's one I find really interesting because it is a subtle difference, but it makes a big difference when you say it. Vitamin. In the UK and in Scotland, we say vitamin like it is written. In America, I believe you guys say vitamin. That seems weird to me. I can't actually do it without thinking it sounds weird. But anyway, we say vitamin. You guys say vitamin. I don't know how that kind of got lost in translation as well. Number 3 is actually a big difference between how you guys say it and how we say it, right? The metal, the heavy metal. Is it heavy metal or is it light metal? It's a metal that is used in a lot of different things. You probably already know what I'm talking about, right? And I know a lot of people say the way we say this is much more difficult, but in my mind, because I'm used to it that way, the way you guys say it is a bit more difficult for me, which is aluminium. That's how we say it, that metal, right? Aluminium. You guys say aluminum? That's weird in my head. I can't get it. Aluminum. Anyway, we say aluminium. It's a big difference between the two. I don't know how that one went missing between our waters of the Atlantic, but it did. We say aluminium and you guys say aluminum. Number 4 is something that is a bit transitional, right? Because the way you guys say it is slowly starting to make its way over and more people say it that way. But anyway, the more traditional way we would say this word, past tense of eaten, is ate. And we do say ate now quite a lot, but there's a lot of instances when we're talking, for example, we would say ate. I just ate my dinner. The letters ET literally is how you would phonetically put it, right? I don't know why that is. It's something we've always done, but like I say, it's one of those ones that I think we're becoming quite Americanized with in our language because we're saying ate more often. And there's quite a lot of words, guys, I've noticed that started, you guys in America say all the time, and probably because of TV shows, sitcoms, all the rest of it, we say more and more in our regular language. Number 5 is controversial. Where do you put your car if you've got one of these places to put a car? You put it in the garage. That's how we say it in Scotland. In America, you say garage. I think in England they say garage as well. But in Scotland, we definitely say garage. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, in Scotland, we say garage. And I think I've heard in England, since I spend a lot of time in London, people say garage. Maybe it's something else that has kind of crossed the pond. But I find that an interesting one. I'd love to know how you say it, where you're from. Is it garage or is it garage? Here's another one. These things, a lot of these words are said in really kind of regional dialects. Depending on where you are in the UK, people here in this country say it extremely differently from one end to the other. But in Scotland, the thing that we drink out the tap and flows down rivers and into lakes, lochs, we'll get to that, is water. In Scotland, we would pronounce a hard T, water. In England, and I don't even like saying this because it's so weird for me, they say water. No. How did they say it? Water. I can't say it. Oh my god, that's so weird. Anyway, in Scotland we say water. Quite a hard way to say it. But in America you guys say it extremely differently, and you love to hear people from the UK say this. You guys say water. Water. A very different, big pronunciation of how we say that word. And I would say the same about number 7. It really depends on where you are in the UK, and it's another word that actually, I think we've started to say more like you guys, but traditionally, the word privacy, that's how you say it in America, and actually, I would say in Scotland, we probably say privacy quite a lot more, but then a lot of people also use it the other way, which is privacy. And again, a lot of people throughout the UK would say privacy. In Scotland, I think more people are kind of switching privacy a lot more. I've heard it quite a lot. It just depends where you're from, but it's certainly one that's a bit interchangeable. But I know in America you say privacy, here probably more common to say privacy. Another weird one that just got kind of lost in between the Atlantic somehow. Number 8, the humble vegetable fruit, I don't know, tomato. Obviously very different from how you guys say it in America. I really struggle to hear and say the way you guys say that word, tomato. It doesn't sound right to me, but I understand that this is just one of these differences, and you guys find it really weird when I say tomato. I know there's been whole songs written and sung to kind of describe the difference between this word, how we say it differently. But anyway, a lot of people in America find it fascinating when they come and say tomato. Number 9, you know what, I'm finding out in this list that I didn't even realise. A lot of words, we are being influenced more and more by the way that you guys say it in the United States. Different words, we are getting influenced as time goes on until, maybe further down the line in 100 years we'll all be saying things the same way with the same accent. But one word that you guys say very differently in America from how we say it, but more people here are saying more of, is schedule. In the UK, it's more common to say the word schedule. Like, I've got an extremely busy schedule next week, whereas in America, you guys would say schedule. However, like I said, a lot more people in the UK have started to adopt the American version of that. So here you'll hear people saying schedule, you will also hear them say schedule. So it's another word that's kind of interchangeable for us, but I guess schedule is the more traditional way that we would say it in the UK. I think we're getting Americanized in the UK. We're bringing more words over because of all the TV we watch, Netflix and all the rest of it. Number 10, the word advertisement. In America, you guys would say the full thing, but in the UK, we shorten it quite a lot. We would say advert. Advert is a much more common way we would say this word in the UK. Scotland, England, anywhere, we would say advert quite a lot, whereas an advert is not something you guys would say at all. In America, you'd say advertisement or ad. A lot of people just say ad now, whether you're in America or the UK, ad is probably quite common. But I guess if we're talking about the more traditional way that we would say it, which is definitely not done in America, is advert, is how we would say that word. I don't know why. I don't know why we just decided to take off the tisment. We deleted it. Advertisement. Isement, rather. I don't know why we got rid of the isement. What is wrong with isement? But the next one on the list is something that is non-negotiable, right? This is something that will never make it over to the UK. I don't care what anyone says. This one is staying how it is, right, for us. In America, the humble herb. Herb could describe a lot of things. You could smoke herbs. You could drink herbs. You could make herbal tea. You could chop herbs up and put them in your food. You can do a lot of things with herbs, right? Productive things. They taste good. But of course, in America, you guys do not say herb. You do not pronounce the H You pronounce it herb. Is there any particular reason why the H is chopped off? I don't know. I don't get that one. Anyway, that is a very big difference. Clearly, that you guys say differently from America to here. We say herb. Herb. And for the last segment of this video, I promised you I would get onto some really Scottish words that we use quite regularly in Scotland, meaning different things, and we say which are not English at all. They come from either Scots or even derived from Gaelic. There's a whole massive list of these that I could go through in a whole nother video, but I'll give you just a bit of a taster at the end of today's video, right? Number 12 on the list, loch. We talked earlier in this video about lakes, the freshwater bodies of water, right? Lake. For us, we would never say lake in Scotland. In fact, they say lake in England. We would never say that. In fact, we'd be offended if you came and called it a lake. We call it a loch. You have to use a hard loch. Like the Loch Ness Monster. Imagine if you came and said the Lake Ness Monster. You get chucked out. Although I will say there is actually one specific loch in Scotland which is not a loch and is actually titled lake. There is one lake in Scotland only. The Lake of Menteith. I don't know why. There's probably some historical reason why the Lake of Menteith exists in Scotland. But otherwise, we use the word loch, which means a body of fresh water. There you go, the first one to teach you. I'm just giving you a taster now of these Scottish words, which are quite interesting for a lot of people around the world. 13, and there's kind of a double whammy here. The way we say, kind of Scotland's iconic animal. If you come to Scotland, you're going to see this animal quite a lot. It is a cow, a type of cow, but we don't say it like that. You know the big hairy cows that we get, the big ginger ones, a big kind of postcard picture of Scotland. We call them Highland coos. For us in Scotland, we would say coo instead of cow. This word doesn't actually derive from Gaelic, it derives from Scots. We call them coos, we do not say cows. Although when I'm in England, like I'm at this precise moment, I couldn't say coo because nobody would understand what I mean. And in other languages, for example Portuguese, I speak Portuguese as well, coo is a very rude word. It's probably rude in other countries' languages as well. That's an interesting little tidbit there for you. We say Highland coos. Highland is a basically shortened way to say Highland. A coo or a cow from the Highlands. Number 14 is very in vogue. A lot of you guys watching this video were probably going to be fans of Outlander, and one word that is very common in Outlander is sassenach. Sassenach is an old Scots word, maybe it derives from Gaelic, I think it does actually, that basically means an outsider. Somebody not from that region. But even me, being from the lowland of Scotland, if I went up to the Highlands back in the day, hundreds of years ago, I would have been considered a sassenach as well. But essentially for us in Scotland nowadays, sassenach refers to an outsider. It can be used in a derogatory way, but actually sassenach, like an Outlander for example, is used in a kind of like cute term of endearment for someone that you like, that you're going to call sassenach, is a bit of a nickname. But like I said, a very popular word nowadays because of Outlander. A lot of you guys have watched it. Sassenach is in it, and it is a Scottish word. There you go. One more for you to come in this video, lads and lassies. Yes, we still say in Scotland, lads and lassies, all the time when we are referring to boys and girls. Lads, boys, lassies, girls. It's words we use all the time in our language, in our vocabulary. Our way of saying boys and girls is lads and lassies. And I know people around the world in America and other places will know about lads and lassies because you might use it as well. You've definitely heard of it, right? There's my list today of all the words that people in America have loved to hear me say, and hopefully that you guys watching now will have loved to hear me say as well. Let me know down in the comments what you thought, if there's any more words that you love to hear British people and Scottish people say. And I might do another video further down the line on that subject. But guys, I just want to give a big shout out to all my members on Patreon. Patreon is a platform where you guys, the viewers who watch my channel, can help support to the running costs of my channel by contributing, and in return you get lots of behind the scenes exclusive content that nobody else gets to see. You get to see some videos early before anyone else and lots of other great benefits. Go and check it out. There is going to be a link up here and down below. www.patreon.com/ShaunVlog. I'd very much appreciate if you would go and have a wee look of that. Alright, guys, thank you very much for being here. It's been great to speak to you. As always, until the next adventure, hopefully we are going to be out of this whole lockdown thing. Have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever time of day it is, wherever you are in the world. Take care.